I hope you take a deep one then.
I'm saying the reference
Brian Andrews to play line. Brian Andrews to play line.
Want to come up? Yeah, sit there.
What did you hear? No, you're on here. Big crowd. Huge. Capacity audience, Trevor. Capacity. He's cheating us already, isn't he? He's cheating you guys already. 10th Senior Open 2016 men's final. Frank Donnelly to serve, John Doyle to receive, that's the 5 games. Go. One love.
Walter Asherish. Welcome back to the live streaming. This is the men's.
2 love. Three love. And out 1-3.
Sorry.
And out 4-1.
Sorry, I got distracted there. This is the men's semi-final between Frank Donnelly in the white with the Irish squash logo at the back of the shirt and John Doyle from Barntown in Wexford. Um,
6-1. Right.
Frank is plays out of a lot of clubs really. He's a full-time coach, so he's a very experienced player and a lovely touch player. And so far John just hasn't an idea what to do with him.
Out 2-7.
2-7. John's family is here, which is nice. Frank is letting him in, but he won't be careful because he doesn't give John confidence. So the game has suddenly changed from 7-1 to 4-7. John plays in Wexford in Barntown, which is just outside the town of Wexford, where there's a very thriving squash club at the moment. That was a bad mistake, and that's inexperience. He really should have just dropped that ball. Move Frank around, which is the only way to play him. He's just too good a squash player to do anything else with. That's unfortunate.
9-4.
Frank had given that up and John put it back to him. Good shot. Frank is complaining he was stuck on the ground. Back line. Oh, John, that was a very bad mistake.
And now 10-5.
10-5. Frank is just so quick. He's so quick onto a ball. Frank leads one game to love. Joe Rose, the referee, is called 15 seconds. And both pairs hit the ball a little bit, nod at each other, and they're ready to start again. The ball. That's a good shot from John. Frank had gone one way, John hit the ball. One love. And there's a sizable crew from Wexford here, which is nice. Young children shouting for John. Oh, Frank missed that drop. He should never have done. 3 love. So they're getting excited, which is good. John has certainly settled a little bit more. He's Frank was unlucky there. Five love. So Frank won the first comfortably, John as well. I had him the second. A very nice squash actually. Very good length from Frank on that. 1-5.
Good play left. Put me shirt.
Yeah.
1-5.
Playing a let on the serve because they thought that might have been out. But again, it mightn't. It's a lovely. Frank has that lovely flick.
2-5.
Shot. 2-5. John needs to be careful now. Because if Frank gets the next 2 points, the change. Oh, you don't give him easy ones like that.
3-5.
Snatching at it a little bit. 3-5. That's a good shot from John. Well played.
6-3.
6-3. Seven three.
7-3.
Again, good length from John, just consistent length, pushing the lessons, the choices and the options Frank has to use his ring craft, his court craft. Lovely lob from Frank. It's a very nice return from John. It's a good rally. Ah, very nice shot.
9-3.
9-3. That's quite a change in this game. 4-9.
And out. 4-9. And out. 10-4 game ball.
It's unlucky. 10-4. So it's 1 game on.
1 game on.
It's nice to hear a few children excitedly clapping and cheering. It all adds to the atmosphere.
One game on. One serve. Come on.
There's some children here making a bit of noise, which is lovely to hear. Oh, that's a mishit from Frank, and he apologises. So 1 game off.
And that's 1 love.
That's a very well played from John. Frank guessed 3 times. The first 2 he got right. The third one he didn't. A very good rally. But again, that's what John needs to do, make a punishing rally and work Frank around the court. Nice width on that shot. Frank had covered it if it wasn't as wide. That's a lovely drop from Frank. Frank really has such a lovely squash court craft. Three, two. Oh, Frank, that was careless.
And out. 3-all.
3-all. Yeah. John really has settled very well into the game. And he's beginning to work Frank around. Yeah, that's a nice shot. It's working him very well. 4-3. Frank was saying the serve was out, and Joe Rugby, the referee, says, well, you won the point anyway, but if you want to let, you can have it. Frank isn't that accommodating. It's nice that they're relaxed and enjoying themselves as well as competing. That's what it's about. John plays very nicely on his shots. Oh, that's a bad drop.
6-4.
6-4.
Yes, right.
Joe Ruddy says it's all right. Usually when you put it onto Frank's racket like that, he doesn't miss. He got that point with it. Move away from John a bit, so it's a very nice length on that backhand. 6-all. Oh, it's a lovely shot from John. Lovely post.
7-6.
7-6.
Right, please.
From the right. And again, Frank's cuteness. He can do so much with the ball that you. That's a nice float.
And out. 8-7.
8-7. Nicely poised there. Very clever by Frank.
8-all.
8-all. John didn't.
Yes.
John questions whether it was good, but it was.
Pardon? 8-all.
8-all. So having a bit of banter and then we'll check the score. That's the second time in 3 or 4 points that John has played that lovely post. And Frank was stretching for it, but just couldn't reach it. 9-8. Lovely stretch from John.
10-8.
10-8 games for 2 games to 1. 10-8. Yes, well played, John. So John leads 2 games to 1.
2 games to 1.
And anyone in Barntown, I'm sure, are absolutely delighted with how this game is going. John has settled into it after the first game. Is playing a much better aggressive game and using his youth and mobility. So they're gone for a rest. And Garhul, the president of the Irish Squash, is having a word with Frank. I'm sure he's not giving him advice on this squash. Though as an ex-international squash player, Gar would be very well equipped to do that. Now, in between the games, just to say that there's a lot of work being done by volunteers down in Barntown and in Enniscorthy in developing squash. Squash was a very significant part of the communities down there in years gone by, but over the last 20 years or so it has, like a lot of sports, has dropped off. But there's been a lot of work done down in Barntown. I understand they're actually building a second court down there, or they're contemplating it, which is great to hear. And I know Enniscorthy have upgraded their courts, put new heating and lights in, and it's booming down there. So, Fergal Redmond, who's an Irish Masters International, is based down there, and I know John Young, who has played here in Fitzwilliam for many years, is living and playing squash down there and trying to make a comeback. John was the same era and vintage as Frank. Finally was on court. And I know they used to play once a week together in Dublin regularly until John's knees started to make it difficult for him. One of the great things about squash, as long as your body holds up, is you can play it at any age, and it's really enjoyable at any age for kids and for the older ones who never properly grown up. That's a lovely shot from John. Lovely length on it. Very. That's it. John's vulnerability on that backhand. One love. It's a lovely drop from Frank. He just has such a lovely touch. Just takes all the pace off the ball, so when it bounces, it dies. That's just a great length. A super shot. 3-love. Frank has obviously decided to go the aerial route. That's a nice drop from John. Good shots when they work, but they can be quite risky. Again, Frank saw John's moving out of. He's got great peripheral vision. Oh, that's just a lovely shot.
5-1.
5-1.
All right, John. Stroke for Donnelly.
Yeah, Frank is doing a bit of cleaning. Just sometimes if the sweat gets on the court,
6-1 right.
as you're moving, your foot sort of gets stuck in the damp. That's why they clean it, because A, it can cause injury, but also it can cause lack of mobility. 7-1. John says he was there, giving out to himself. 7-1. John grips the racket very high up on the racket. There's no absolutely right way of doing it.
8-1.
8-1.
Right.
So Frank has really dominated this game. It looks like we're going into a fifth game decider. Yeah, Frank has definitely decided to go the high route. Beautiful shot.
9-1.
What you don't do with Frank is you don't give him loads of time to stand on the ball and pick his shot.
And out 2-9.
Frank reckons that was a double hit or something, so he didn't contest it.
Good. 3-9.
3-9. Frank was creating the serve. Yeah, John calls it that he actually doubled sat on his racket. So Frank and the referee both said thank you to him. Oh, so 2 games on.
2 games on.
Which is nice for a final. And such a contrasting styles. John is all action, hitting the ball. Frank is all touch and control of floating it. Be interesting to see. I think a lot will depend on the early points in the final game. We'll wait and see.
Donnelly to serve. Come on. One each. And out 1 love.
So, 1 love. The midhead and both of them have a laugh about it. Yeah, that's what I knew Frank was going to go. shot from John. Lovely drop. 2-love. That's what's needed actually for John to get an early lead. See how it goes. That's out.
3-love.
Oh, Frank was waiting down. It's 4-love. That's a considerable lead now for John. Just has to not make mistakes. Like that. Giving easy points away. Actually, John missed a lot of balls on that backhander and shoulder height. It's quite difficult technically to play them with a lot of consistency. Oh, Frank, that was one that he would expect to make.
5-1.
5-1. It was out too, so John now has a very good lead. Oh, Frank! That's not a ball he doesn't miss very often. He's annoyed with himself. He's probably getting a bit tired now. That's a lovely lob. That didn't make the front wall.
Yeah. And out. 2-7.
2-7. 3-7.
3-7.
Again, John really in his mind has to say no mistakes, don't give any points away. And he's just given 2 away.
4-7.
Referee says there's 2 points for that. He only gives him 1. Oh, Frank! Should never have missed that.
And out 8-4.
Again, what's happening is because John is so mobile, Frank is having to be very, very accurate with it. Yeah, that's very sporting. I actually thought it was good. Frank asked John, was it good? And he says, I'm not sure. So between the two of them and the referee, they agreed to play that.
And to left, you still hit the ball. No, to left. 8-4.
I'm not sure why he gave it that there. I would have thought it's a stroke. It was a point to Frank. 8-4. It's a lovely shot. 5-8. Yeah, 1 or 2 mistakes from John now. I could let Frank back in. Stroke to John. Good play from John, actually. He stayed in the rally, moved Frank around, and eventually got the stroke. Oh, that's short, Frank.
10-5, match ball.
Match ball. So, looks like the odds are on Barntown having a great victory here today.
And out 6-10 game ball. Sorry, match ball.
6-10 match ball. So, John just has to win one of the next 4. He's won very good. They're both delighted. And the Barntown contingent are absolutely delighted. Well done. Great victory for